Welcome to the Valley Today, a public service presentation of KAIL TV. Spring is here as we see blossoms all around us. The blossoms usually run from February through the end of March, and after that, the fruit trail. Join us as we speak with organic farmer Ted Lowen and Fresno County Tourism Representative Christy Johnson. The Garden of Eden and how we get it to market, up next on the Valley Today. Welcome to the Valley Today. We are here with Ted Lowen, and Ted is a local farmer here in the Reilly Parlier area. And he's gracious enough to let us come to his farm and show us the beautiful blooms, and we've got some beautiful plum blooms here.
Well, thanks for coming out. Appreciate you coming out.
And thanks for speaking with us. And you're a 21st century cowboy because not only are you farming, you're growing the product, but you're also packaging it, you're trucking it, and you're marketing it and selling it yourselves.
Yes, for most of it.
Yeah.
For most of it. Yeah, we were the typical small farm of the 50s and 60s, like a lot of our neighbors,
right,
where we would pack the fruit and then it would go to a distributor would distribute it.
Right.
And we've gone from that to becoming highly diversified, filling niches, going to farmers markets. We have what we call direct wholesale, which is where we are servicing some retail accounts, some restaurant accounts, up in the Bay Area primarily.
And really the whole deal has changed because like our parents and our grandparents, they just had to get the fruit in the box.
Yeah.
And then at that point,
it worked.
They were done.
Yeah,
I mean, they just had to get the product off the tree. You know, they had to, of course, be a good farmer and have a decent product, but they just had to get it in the box and get it off the property, and their job was done.
Yeah.
And that whole deal has changed now. I mean, for people to survive like you, you know, not only have you had to change your thinking, but you've probably had to downsize the fruit because you had to have fruit coming off year round, or as early and late into the season as possible.
Right. Yeah. In the old way of doing it, the way you grew up and the way my wife grew up, you know, I married into this, but
right.
You know, you'd have your 20 varieties on a 50-acre farm or whatever, you know, and you'd have them through the season. That's what happened here, at least.
Right.
And you'd have 2.5-acre blocks and they go through. But now, when we're direct marketing, if we go to a farmer's market, you know, the more variety you have and the more unusual things you have, the better it is. So
right.
We might have in the peak season, in the middle of the summer, as many as a dozen different things that are out. So we're a little bit larger than we were. We're 80 acres about now, but we're growing 175 different varieties. You know, it might be 20 trees of this and 30 trees of that.
Yeah.
And we want white peach, yellow peach, white nectarine, yellow nectarine, plum, pluot, other unusual things.
Apricot.
Yeah, apricots in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
We've extended our season, so we're trying to market, keep the cash flow going, market year round.
Right.
So we have a little bit. We have some citrus now. We always had some persimmons, but we have 7 different varieties of persimmons now.
Yeah.
So you know.
So as few as 20 trees a variety, huh?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what's the market that you're typically selling at now? You're in the Bay Area, right?
We're in the Bay Area, right?
Yeah. And so, what? San Francisco Fresh Fruit Market?
We go to the Ferry Plaza Farmers Market, which is a great farmers market in San Francisco.
Yeah.
A couple times a week. We're over in Berkeley a couple times a week at the farmers market there, and up in Fresno County. There are about 7 markets that we do in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And then we do a couple of restaurant delivery routes twice a week. And then we have some stores that we service a couple times a week.
And so the whole thing with the slow food movement is really caught on now, and people are recognizing guys like you, and also you are an organic farmer, so
yes.
You are bringing product to market that doesn't have any pesticides.
Right. Yeah. We're certified organic, and yeah.
And is that more difficult to grow a product organically because you don't have the control of using the pesticides?
Well, yes.
You know?
It's a whole different system, and we kind of eased into it. There were some growers in the area that established something called California Clean Growers, and we did that for about a dozen years. And so in some ways we kind of eased into it. We could use some materials there that we couldn't use as organic growers. As an organic grower, and so about 5 years ago we became organic, The biggest problem for us really is what's happening right now.
Right.
If we get wet springs like what it started out to be in the bloom time, we can have some real big problems. And,
right.
And I can show you some apricots that are really. We have some organically approved fungicides that are available, but they're not as effective as the synthetic fungicides. And sulfur is the primary thing that we use on tree fruit for controlling fungus.
Right. Yeah.
But we can't use that on some things like apricots.
So you had to be incredibly nervous the last couple of weeks because the weather has been so unpredictable. And you know, when the bloom set's coming and you've got wet conditions and you've got freezing conditions, that can really, that can change the game overnight for you for this year, production year.
Yeah, yeah. The effect of a wet time of year this year varies depending on the variety that you've got.
Right.
It definitely can have a big effect on the season.
Yeah.
Fortunately, historically, the cold, knock on wood, the cold weather has not done huge damage in the tree fruit industry,
right.
although it has done damage. And,
yeah.
And this last round came awfully close to doing some pretty serious
Chill
damage.
time is good for tree fruit, but it has to be in the winter when the trees are sleeping.
Yes.
And then as spring comes and these blooms are pushing,
then you don't want it. Yeah, then they're at their most vulnerable stage as the fruit is just beginning to form.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's interesting, you came from, you're a lawyer.
Yes, yeah.
So you've come from an educated background where, do you still do any lawyering?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You're doing this.
This is what I'm doing, yeah.
And it's a great lifestyle, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
How's your stomach, though?
Those rainstorms move in this time of year.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I was telling you earlier, Charles and I were taping another show last week, and we finished up mid-Friday afternoon, and we got hit. We were in Clovis.
Yeah.
And we got hit with a wall of water. I mean, I've never seen it rain this hard in the valley in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, we must have gotten 2.5, 3 inches in 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
it was really, I mean, everything was flooded
immediately. That's a Midwestern storm.
Yeah,
I grew up in the Midwest.
Right.
I've seen it there.
Yeah, and I've worked in Florida for a couple of years, and I remember it raining like that there, but I never remember it raining like that here at this time of year especially.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing can do a lot of damage. I mean, if it's coming down too hard, or, the next couple months, hail is what we think about.
Sure.
You talk about stomach turning. That's what.
And of course, there's microclimates too. I mean, what could happen on this farm, maybe 5 miles away on somebody else's farm, it won't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's it's a crapshoot, isn't it?
Yeah. Depending on what cloud you're under, or even on temperature, microclimates.
Right.
Just a little colder area for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how does the river bottom? You've got property butting up to the river bottom. Does that affect your farm at all as far as temperature?
It is a little different microclimate. It's going to be a little cooler down the river bottom.
Yeah.
And usually, if you put a little later varieties in there, well, you can extend them a little bit later in the season. That can help.
Yeah.
From a marketing standpoint.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been taking the fruit and selling it yourselves at these fresh markets? How long have you been doing that?
Well, we started doing it, back in probably 92, 93, so it's almost
20 years.
Almost 20 years, yeah.
And it's an incredible amount of work because you guys your family is on the road at least 6 months out of the year. Because you're constantly driving fruit up and bringing boxes back.
Well, we started off doing it the way I think most people do it. It's very nomadic. You get in the pickup, you go up there, and you spend the night usually, and maybe do a couple markets.
Right.
We've gone from that to we actually lease a little space up in the Bay Area, so we operate out of that space.
And you can store your fruit there.
We can store our fruit there.
And can you also sleep there and get rest?
We can. We can. And we've also learned that there are seasonal rentals. A lot of students that want to rent their places in the summer.
Oh yeah, so that might work out for you.
Yeah, it's better than a motel for sure. Yeah,
and I bet there's been a lot of satisfaction with people coming up to you and saying, "Hey, this is a great piece of fruit," and
It is.
And it's a neat thing because the guy that grew it is oftentimes right there.
Yeah. No, when we first started doing it, we were there a lot. I mean, my wife and I were both there a lot. As time has gone by, our kids have gotten more involved, and we hire people up there, students up there to help us. And, but we're still in and out, and there's big satisfaction in getting the immediate feedback.
Right. Yeah. Whereas if you were sending it to a broker and the broker was selling it, you might not hear anything.
Right.
Other than, hey, you got brown rot and you got to come clean these boxes out.
Exactly, yeah.
I remember doing that with my dad years ago.
Yeah.
We had stuff in the cold storage in Reedley,
yeah.
and it had been sitting, and it had brown rot, and so we had to go through, take the off the pallets, and we had to go through
yeah.
the boxes and
yeah.
throw away the stuff.
Yeah, I think in the wholesale distribution, usually you do just get bad news. You don't get the good news. Yeah.
So what's the future for our food supply here in California? Because things are changing rapidly, aren't they?
Yeah, well, over the last however many years, probably 20, 30 years, it's been consolidation is what's all about.
Right.
Both on the buyer's end, the retail end, and on the growing end.
Yeah.
You had to have growers that could supply truckloads of a size of a type of fruit. I think in some ways the pendulum maybe is coming back a little bit. I'm hoping it is. That there's more interest in local food, which often means fresher food, which means more nutritious food.
Right.
And, there is an interest, I think, at least within a portion of the population, of making that connection, with the people that are growing the food.
Right.
It's not just going to a store and getting something, but knowing who did it and
right.
kind of being more informed about the process, having more direct confidence, I think, in the process.
More of a personal relationship with the guy that's
yeah.
actually supplying the food that you're going to eat.
Right.
And there's
right.
a lot of trust issues there too. It's,
yeah.
Well, I know this
yeah.
guy, he's organic, he doesn't use any pesticides
yeah.
or anything of that, blah,
yeah.
blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a chance to learn things directly from someone that
sure.
you don't.
So there's an information exchange also, because probably as you're up there, you're saying, well, this particular variety, we had these challenges with it, and
right.
then they understand that, because, I don't think a lot of people get what a farmer goes through in order to take these beautiful blossoms that will eventually have fruit on these trees, get that to market. What you go through just to get that piece of fruit in front of a buyer that's
right.
going to buy it and then take it home and eat it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
The challenges are immense,
Right, right. And on the other side, as a grower, we don't necessarily know what the person we're growing it for wants.
Right.
And we can have that dialogue and find out the different palates that we're, people can experience the same piece of fruit in a very different way just because
sure.
we're all individuals,
Yeah.
So.
And I can imagine that the feedback that you've gotten from people that you're marketing to now has influenced you to plant certain varieties, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And of course, you've got to go through, I know you've got to go through your orchard and you've got to taste every variety and know that, oh, this tastes good, this doesn't taste good, this has got a good shelf life, this doesn't have a good shelf life.
Right.
And so there's this natural attrition, it seems.
Well, there is, but also what I think tastes good, someone else that I'm selling to, this is what you learn when you're interacting. Other people have different opinions,
right?
And so you throw that into the mix as well.
Yeah. We are now with Christy Johnson with the Fresno County Office of Tourism
Correct.
and the Film Commission.
Yes.
Yay! And of course, we're going to talk about the Blossom Trail now, and we've got these beautiful blossoms behind us, and we're a little bit off the Blossom Trail, but the idea is that all of Fresno County is probably a blossom trail.
Absolutely.
This time of year.
Yeah, as you know, we're the #1 stone fruit producing area in the world. So eastern Fresno County goes into full bloom this time of year, and it's just spectacular.
Right, yeah, and it's just, look at these. It just doesn't get any better than this. You've got the green pushing from the floor cover, the pink blossoms here. Are these peaches, Ted? Nectarines. These are nectarines here. And the blue sky, and it's just,
And you didn't forget to mention the Sierra Nevada in the back.
The Sierra Nevada, this is just, this is one of my favorite times of year because it's not too hot yet.
And you can't help but smile being out here. When your life gets stressful or you need a break, folks can just drive quickly out into the country and they have this all around them. It's fantastic. 5
minutes out of Fresno and you are on a blossom trail.
Yes.
Somewhere. Now the blossom trail is an actual route.
Yes, there is a route that kind of tells you where to turn and when to go straight. It's not a map like a AAA map, so it really is sort of a line drawing of kind of where you should be in to see the best blossoms. But you
Yeah.
can veer off of it like we did today, couple blocks, and it's equally fantastic
And there
all over
are
Eastern
explanations of the different blossoms too, aren't there?
There are, so you can be blossom spotters.
Yeah.
You can go out and look at the different slight shade variations in the blooms and figure out whether you're seeing a peach, a plum, a nectarine, an apricot, an almond blossom.
Right.
They all have a slightly different color, and even those folks who've lived here all their lives still guess wrong. So it's a real fun activity to drive out, take a look at the blossoms, look at the shape of the trees, and try to guess what that's going to become.
So what are we looking at for tourism? You were mentioning earlier that you've gotten some articles in the Chicago Tribune.
Right. We got
Los Angeles Times.
Yes. We got a wonderful article in the Los Angeles Times that then got picked up on the AP wire and then goes out to the other publications, so that it also appeared in the Chicago Tribune, in publications back in Virginia and Florida. And then we just found out that it was picked up by the Korea Times. So we're now
Korea
international.
Times. Wow.
Yes.
And of course, with the advent of the internet, we can put stuff out there and get the information out a lot quicker to people that are interested.
The internet allows us to have the Blossom Trail available 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So we don't even need to be at our office. We don't need to be by the phone. People can access it from all over the world.
Sure.
24 hours a day. And the second feature that we added this last year was Twitter. And so now people always are calling us, are they in bloom yet? Are they in bloom yet? Because due to Mother Nature and how the weather goes each year, it changes slightly on when we're going to have blossoms. So people follow us on Twitter, and we're able to tweet out that the blossoms are here, the almond blossoms are here, the apricot blossoms are here, the peach blossoms are here as they come up, so people can come out and see those.
Is this driving tourism as far as getting bus loads of people, like Orange Belt Stages or whatever these carriers are that can, again, bring people into Fresno County and show them the blossoms?
It certainly does. We get a lot of individual travelers, especially coming up from either the Bay Area or LA area, but we also get a lot of international travelers and senior groups. And senior groups like the buses, as well as the international groups. We get a lot from Japan, China, and now Korea is our newest market that's expressed interest in the Blossom Trail.
And that's great, because this perhaps will translate into selling fruit to these markets when these blossoms turn to fruit 2 or 3 months down the road.
It does. It does. We this will be our 7th year. We have a fruit trail that starts in the summer, and it's basically the same route as the Blossom Trail, but it allows our farmers who have the blooms in the springtime to be able to have fruit and produce stands in the summer.
Right. Now, do you go around to these farmers markets and see what's being offered, the local produce?
We do. We've been able to develop quite a network of farmers all around eastern Fresno County.
Yeah.
And what's great about it is farmers who previously didn't have farm stands have seen that the marketing efforts for the fruit trail have allowed people to come out and buy directly from the farmer. It's another economic engine for them to access in a time when a small farm is really struggling to get the financial.
And of course, a stone fruit grower like Ted, who is organic, that's just a win-win. You've got the slow food movement now, where people are trying to get away from the fast food diet. And all the fruits and vegetables that are grown here locally. I mean, this make a wonderful diet for anyone.
It's fantastic, and sometimes we don't appreciate the great agriculture we have right here.
Right.
And I was speaking to Ted about his farm earlier, and the fact that his produce is being sold in some of the world's top restaurants.
Right.
Tom Colicchio, who's the host of Top Chef, was using some Blossom Bluff products last summer. So it'll be exciting to see what great chef may be using some local produce next year.
And of course, these guys are taking it to the next level, because they're taking this fruit and just making these new creations that a lot of people wouldn't think of.
Yeah, it really is exciting. It's exciting to be a resident of the Central Valley, and it's exciting to see what the Central Valley produces, what we're #1 in the world at, being loved and experienced by people from all over the state, all over the world.
Right. So how long will this Blossom Trail continue? Probably till the blossoms are off, huh?
That really is the $64,000 question every year. When will it start? When will it finish? We keep watching the weather reports. It's glorious today. It's going to be glorious this weekend. And we think probably another 2 to 3 weeks.
It's really going to push.
As long as Mother Nature cooperates with us, we'll keep sending people
So do you go out every day when the blossom's starting to push, and you kind of keep an idea of what's going on?
What I do is I have a network of blossom spotters, is what I call them.
Yeah.
And they phone in, they email in, and they let me know. If they don't call in, then I track them down.
Yeah.
Because I don't get out here as much as I'd like.
Sure.
But I certainly, during blossom season, try to get out here at least once a week, because we get this once a year, and to not enjoy it would be really a loss.
Right.
So I recommend to everybody to come out and take a drive in the country.
And you also dialed into the farmers. You have farmers reporting on what's going on their farm.
We do.
Not only with the blossoms, but the 4 seasons, certainly the spring, summer, fall, and winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we have contacts at the Kearney Ag Center to tell us about any new varietals that may be coming up. We have contacts with the Fresno County Ag Commissioner to tell us what the latest things are, because we really want to be the ambassador for agriculture in the county.
Yeah.
We want to let people know how proud we are of our agriculture, but also to share the amazing agriculture with everybody else.
I mean, we are growing the best food in the world. We're growing the most. We're feeding. This is the fruit basket of the world, and we're feeding not only our nation, but we're feeding the world.
We are.
Yeah.
And other people, like I said, are traveling. Foodies from all over the world are traveling in to experience this. Here we have it locally. We need to make sure that we experience it as well.
Yeah. And the whole deal with growing fruit now has changed, because a generation or two ago, we would grow fruit, pick it a little green, and put it in the box because it would have to survive being shipped to New York or Los Angeles or anywhere in the country. But with guys like Ted that are growing more varieties and growing a less amount of the acreage, to be able to constantly have a fresh fruit supply. The fruit is now riper, it's juicier, it's bigger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you've never had a fresh picked piece of fruit, I strongly recommend you take a drive out to one of our farms in the summertime, or go to one of our amazing farmers markets, which are also fantastic, and get this fresh picked fruit. It's a completely different experience than buying it from anybody else. Buying it from the producer, from the farmer, is a whole different experience.
And they've got a really nice one at Shaw and Blackstone.
Absolutely,
that farmers market
the Vineyard Farmers Market, absolutely, every Wednesday and Saturday, and they are part of our Fruit Trail team, so we're excited.
And what other farmers markets are there locally?
Goodness, we have a really nice one at Kaiser. Kaiser Hospital has one every Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
In the parking lot?
Actually, out in front of the entrance to the hospital.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so it's a great little farmer's market, and it's a great, if you have to be to Kaiser for something else, it's a great way to
and
come
Kaiser is, that's one thing that's one of their thrusts, is that they're trying to educate people on, preventative medicine, and part of that is eating lots of fruits and vegetables.
And many of our eastern Fresno County cities have one. Reedley has a fantastic one. Kingsburg has a fantastic one. Sanger does one on Saturday nights in June that's a lot of fun. Clovis has a great one in Old Town Clovis. So there's also some wonderful farmers markets where you can drive for maybe 15 to 20 minutes, experience a whole nother city, and a farmers market at the same time.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Isn't that cool? Well, what else do you have to share with us? You've got some brochures here.
Absolutely. We certainly wanted to encourage people, if they can make it out this year, or if they make it out next year, the Blossom Trail website is available year-round, goblossomtrail.com. And then if they miss the blossoms, but they want a great piece of fruit, we encourage them to come out to the Fruit Trail, which usually starts in May, varies when the harvest starts, but about mid-May. And they can come out and find the map on gofruittrail.com and come out and buy some produce from some farmers and make everybody happy. Yeah, that's just a win-win, huh? Yes. Look at these beautiful pamphlets here you've got. Yes. Fruit basket of the world. Absolutely. It's amazing to think that that I was born and raised here, and it's as pretty now as it ever was. It is, and it's very, very important for Fresno County. The emphasis is to preserve this agricultural heritage that's a part of all of us. And that's the one thing that is changing, is that the dynamics of land use is changing as cities grow. Yes. They're pushing farmland out, and we really do need to preserve ag land and support local farmers like Ted that produce such a great product. Yes, and that's one thing about being an ambassador for agriculture. It can carry our message to the rest of the world, how important it is to preserve this way of life. Right. Well, Cindy, we are out of time. Great. Christy. It's Christy. Woo. Anyway, we're with Christy Johnson here with the Fresno County Office Tourism, and this is The Valley Today, and The Valley Today is a public service presentation of this great TV station. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.